want to make everybody aware that we will be recording this class, and at the end of the class, if you'd like a copy of the class that you just attended, just let me know and I will email it to you. Okay, so again, as the DARCI marketing class, we call it DARCI and marketing because although DARCI does some very powerful marketing tools and has very powerful marketing tools in her, there's also manual marketing, which is outside of DARCI, and we'll be touching on that as well at the end of the class or near the end of the class. So first, we're going to talk about DARCI and what it is she does. She has 5 main jobs, and those 5, she does other things in the software as well as those 5, but the 5 main jobs are what we're going to focus on today. In order to get her to do those jobs, though, we have to hire her. And how do we hire DARCI? Well, we click on the DARCI button in our Transcend toolbar, and that'll bring up our Setup DARCI window. The first thing we need to do is set up our DARCI account. That's how we hire her. And that button right here, Set Up Account, we're going to click on that, and that brings up our Setup DARCI Account Information window. Now, this may look a little confusing, but don't worry, we're going to go through each line, and it's really very simple. For instance, where it says business name, you're going to put just that, your business's name here, as well as your address, city, state, zip code, and telephone number. Next, we have the business website address. This is actually your website address. And make sure that you have, if yours starts with a www or whatever it may, make sure that that's included. Don't have something just like this, where it says prosolutionssoftware.com. Then it won't be an actual link. So be sure you have something at least like this. That will turn it into a link so that people will be able to get into your business website by clicking on that link. Next, we have business email address. Now, there's 3 different email addresses here. We've got business email, owner's email, and owner's email 2. But the business email address has one very specific job, and that is this. Any email at all that goes out from your software is controlled by DARCI. And any reply to a DARCI email, we don't want it going back to DARCI. We want it going to you. So we need to make sure that you have put in, where it says business email address, the email address that you want all replies to a DARCI email to be forwarded to. So whether she's sending out an appointment reminder or a birthday wishes or anything at all, if somebody replies to that email, it will be forwarded to whatever you put under business email address. Now that's going to be very different than the owner's email address and owner's email address too. What those are, there are certain things that DARCI believes are for the owner's eyes only. So whereas the business email address may be your manager or an info ad or something like that, the owner's email address, again, what you put here, those are certain things that DARCI believes should only be for the owner's eyes, and she will forward them to those email addresses that you put here. You can have up to 2 different email addresses. You can just go with 1 like I've done here as well. After you've put in those email addresses, we're going to select Upload Logo. Every DARCI email that goes out is going to have your logo on it, as well as your social networking icons. So it's going to look good if it's got those things on it. If you don't have those items on it, it's not going to be a very appealing email. And you want it to be appealing, especially when you're contacting clients. It never looks good to look bad. So we press Upload Logo, and we can browse to anywhere on our computer, and we can upload a logo that we have somewhere on our computer that we can scroll for. Now, you have to understand a couple of things here. If you are using an installed version of the software, meaning the software is physically installed on your computers there at the shop, then you can upload a GIF, a JPEG, a TXT, or a PNG. And it must be 500K or smaller. That's 500,000 bytes or smaller. If your logo is not the right size, maybe it's the wrong shape, maybe it's too small, and so you think, it just doesn't look right, we have a graphic arts department here at ProSolutions Software that is at your disposal at no charge. Okay, it's important that you know that, because our graphic arts department, they're versed in Adobe Illustrator, in Photoshop, etc. They can help you create logos. They can help you create banners. They can help you create, well, just about anything you can think of, artwork related. And of course, they can make sure that everything is the proper size and format. So we are certainly here to help you with that. And again, there is no charge to use our graphic arts department. It's completely at your disposal. That's part of your subscription. Now, remember I said if it's an installed version, you can upload a GIF, JPEG, TXT, or PNG, 500K or smaller. If, however, you are using the cloud version of the software, you can only upload a JPG, okay? Something to remember there. So if you've got a PNG of your logo and you want to upload it and you're using the cloud, then perhaps you can either convert it yourself to a JPEG or you can send it off to our graphic arts department and have them take care of that for you. And they'll email it right back to you to save on your computer so that you can upload it. Again, every email that goes out will have your logo on it if you have uploaded a logo successfully. After uploading your logo, we have text account username and text account password. Yes, the software certainly does allow you to send texts, not just emails. However, you will not be able to send a text or an email unless you have a text account username. Excuse me, you'll be able to send emails, whether or not you have this, but you will not be able to send texts unless you have a text account username and a text account password. If you're using the cloud, you get a certain number of texts for free, but you still have to get your username and password. In order to get a text account username and password, then you must send an email to, and I know it's going to sound a little strange, sounds like it's credit card, but you must send an email to rates@prosolutionssoftware.com. That's R-A-T-E-S at prosolutionssoftware.com and request your text account username and password. If you are not processing credit cards directly through our software, or if you are not using the cloud, you will get no texts for free, and you can purchase them in blocks. If you are processing credit cards through our software, you get a certain amount for free. If you are using the cloud, you get a certain amount for free. Next, up here, Google+, Yelp, City Search, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. These are the social sites that you may be using for your business. Go to that site, copy the URL, and paste it into the corresponding field. If your business has a Facebook page, be sure that you copy that URL right under the Facebook link here. By doing so, your social networking icons will appear on all emails that go out with your DARCI emails. Now, that's also important because remember, your customers are going to want to have an easy way to go to your Yelp site, an easy way to go to your Facebook site, etc., without having to look you up. Simply by clicking on those icons, they'll be able to be taken directly to that page. Those icons will not appear unless you have the URL in these fields. And again, make sure that they're in the correct field. Don't put a Facebook field in the Twitter icon here because, in the Twitter field here, because what will happen is it will show the Twitter icon, and when they click on it, it'll take them to Facebook, which you don't want. Okay. Don't worry about online gift cards, online scheduling, or online retail. We're going to be removing them from this screen anyway. They no longer have anything to do with the workings of DARCI. That's a separate class. That's our online class, which actually will be happening today at 1 o'clock Pacific time. But you can just ignore those. So after you've put in your social networking sites, you press Save. It will tell you that your settings have been saved. Okay. And DARCI is now hired. Now that DARCI is hired, if you are using the cloud, you can move on to the next step, which we'll be getting to in just a moment. But if you are in the installed version of the software, you must press this button that says Run DARCI. Again, if you're in the cloud, that button doesn't even exist, so don't worry about it. But if you are using an installed version, you must press that button that says Run DARCI. If you turn off the computer that you are running DARCI on, when you turn Transcend back on, you must go into DARCI and run DARCI again. Again, if you're using the cloud, DARCI's always running 24/7. There's no such thing as shutting it off. So don't worry about that in the cloud. If you are using an installed version, you must remember to make sure that DARCI is running. Now, she'll run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But if you turn off your computer, you've turned her off as well, when you bring it back up, DARCI needs to be run again. So something to remember, excuse me. All right, now we're going to talk about the 5 main jobs that DARCI has. Now that you've hired her and you've set her to work, we need to be able to tell her what it is we want her to actually do in her job. 5 things she can do. The first one is email reminders and confirmations. So we're going to select email confirmations. Now we get to write whatever we want here. Don't worry about what you see right now. You can change it to anything you'd like. And you get to use what are called variables, highly recommended. The reason you want to use variables is because it's going to put in every one of your clients' specific information. So this would say something like, reminder for Jocelyn. Hi, Jocelyn. Remember that you have an appointment for a Swedish massage with Sally on May 27th at 11 a.m. Please arrive 15 minutes early to unwind before your treatment. So those are called variables. And how do you know what they are and how to use them? You click on this information I here, and it will give you a list of the variables that you can use and what it is they're going to do for you. Put in your message, whatever you want it to be. There's a sample message for you here. Type your message into the subject line. Type your message into the greeting. And once you've done that, we come down to this area. How many reminders do you want to send? 1, 2, 3, or 4? I've said I want 2 to go out. When do I want them to go out? I want my first reminder to go out 2 days in advance of their appointment, and my second reminder to go out 1 day, in other words, the day before their appointment. That's what I've selected. You can change it from 7 days all the way down to 0. 0 means on the day of their appointment. Now, I want you to understand something important. Let's pretend that you weren't using software at all. You were back in the Stone Ages, and you've got a big old appointment book in front of you. And you called somebody, you called me, and you said, hey, Matt, wanted to remind you about your appointment day after tomorrow at 11 o'clock with Sally for a Swedish massage. And I said, oh, gosh, yes, I can't wait. Looking forward to it. So you reached me, and you confirmed the appointment with me. Great. You wouldn't call me the following day to remind me again. And DARCI does the same thing. When these emails go out, yes, they have your logo on them. Yes, they have your social networking icon on them. But they also have a big blue button that says, click here to confirm your appointment. And if your client presses that button, it will mark the appointment confirmed right on your appointment book. It doesn't just send you an email that says, hey, this person confirmed, and now you've got to go in there and make the confirmation. No, it does it for you. However, if I sent it 2 days in advance and they confirmed, it won't send out the one day in advance. Once they confirmed, it will stop sending out the reminders. So important for you to know that. Also, if they ignore this one, then they will send out, DARCI will send out the next one, up to 4, as I said, until they actually confirm. If they never confirm, hopefully they still show up, and maybe that'll give you an opportunity to ask them, you know, hey, didn't you get my emails? Maybe they're going to their junk mail or something like that, and you can ask them to make it a safe sender. Once you are satisfied with your message and how many are going out and when they're going out, check the box that says active and press accept. The template is saved and you can exit out. You have now set up your DARCI email confirmation reminders. She will then be working every day from that point forward to make sure that your clients get those reminders and have the ability to confirm themselves. You can do the same thing via text. The difference is with text, there's no artwork, so there's no logo, there's no social networking icons, and there's no big blue button that says click here to confirm your appointment. Instead, you must include this line, reply Y to confirm. If your customer gets that text, hey Matt, remember you've got an appointment tomorrow at 11 a.m. And it'll say reply Y to confirm, I press Y, send, and it will do the very same thing that the email button did. It will mark it confirmed right in your appointment book with the date and time that it was in fact confirmed by the customer. Something to remember about texting. Texting requires 140 characters or fewer. You cannot have more than that. Unlike an email, you can have a lot more than that. You can write up, you know, your message, even your cancellation policy in your email. But with a text, you are limited to 140 characters. So be sure it's a very brief message, something like, reminder for Matt, Matt, your appointment with Sally is on May 27th at 11 a.m. Reply Y to confirm. Done. Simple, to the point. Everything else is the same. How many are going out, when they're going out, activate it, and accept. That's job 1, reminders and confirmations. Job 2, wait, before we go to job 2, any questions on confirmations and reminders?
No, thank you.
All right, moving on then, no problem. So the next thing we're going to talk about are campaigns. Now, when most people think of DARCI, this is what they're thinking about, or at least this is what made her popular in the beginning when she was first introduced. These are automated marketing campaigns. So I'm going to click on this button, and when I click on this button, it brings up a brand new window. And that window is my Blast Marketing Messages templates. I have over 20 different templates to choose from. Everything you can imagine, really. Anniversary, back to school, birthday, Christmas, Easter, Father's Day. I'm not going to read them all off to you, but understand they're all there. Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, etc. We also have one called promotional, which you can create your own blast messages. So for instance, let's start with birthday. I'm going to choose birthday, and it brings up this. I can choose to send out one birthday message. 2, 3, or 4. I chose 4. Once I've chosen how many messages go out, I get to choose from 0 to 30 days when they go out. I'm going to say that I want my first message to go out 30 days before my customer's date of birth. My second message is going to go out 14 days before, my third message 7 days before, and my fourth message on their birthday. These are all going to go out. There is no confirmation or anything like that. These are all going to go out. And because of that, each one of them can have its own unique artwork and its own unique message. So once I've set up when I want them to go out, I get to say what is going out. So I'm going to choose my first message here that I know is going out 30 days before my customer's birthday. I get to write the subject, Happy Birthday, Matt, then my body. Before I put in my body, though, I may want to choose my font. I can also choose my font size. I can even, within the message, turn certain words bold or underline them or make them italics or even change the color. I can also insert URLs directly into the body of the message. So for instance, what if I had something like, see where it says click here, www.prosolutionssoftware.com? I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to then insert a URL. And I'm going to say that the URL is www.prosolutionssoftware.com, and then display link as text, and I'm going to say here. And insert link. So it puts in my link, and if I want it to be the same size and everything as the rest of the fonts, I can highlight the whole thing, choose my Arial, for instance, choose my font size, and now that will be the same size as well. I could even, if I wanted to, change the color of that. So my word here, I could make it a dark blue or whatever it is. That way, when they get the message, it says click here. It's highlighted in blue with a little underline under it. I click here, my customer clicks here, and it would take them directly to that website or to wherever it is you want to send them. You know, maybe click here to book appointments online, click here to purchase gift certificates online, whatever. So I've written my message, and notice my message says, Happy Birthday, Sally. It looks like you'll be celebrating your special day in about a month. I said about a month because I know this one's going out 30 days prior to her date of birth. These are the variables down here that you can use inside of the message. So there's fewer, and they might be a little bit different than the ones you used in your confirmation, so don't get them confused. They're listed right here for you. Once you have written your subject and your body, then you get to choose your artwork. We have 8 different pieces of artwork for you to choose from. So I can choose the first one here, looks a little bit young, maybe go with something like this, a little bit more elegant. Your artwork, your message, your logo will appear here. It's a very nice looking message that goes out. And again, there are 8 different pieces of artwork to choose from. If you are unhappy with the artwork, if you say, you know what, I looked at all 8 of them and none of them work for me, that's not a problem. You can upload your own custom image. Again, our graphic arts department can help you with that. So maximum size of each file, again, 500K or smaller. Again, if it's installed, GIF, JPEG, text, or PNG. If it's cloud, JPG only. And close. Upload your own custom image, and if you do that, it'll show custom campaign, and the 9th radio button will be highlighted. Once you've written your subject and your body, and you've chosen your artwork or uploaded your artwork, we highly recommend that you use this. You don't have to, but we recommend it. Send test email. Type in your email address and hit OK. You will get a test version of what you're about to send out. And maybe not even about, just what will go out eventually. By doing that, you can see, hey, does my logo look good with the artwork that I chose? Does the message look good? Do I have any misspellings? Hopefully you see the misspellings here before you see them on the email, but you send that test email to yourself, take a look at it. Yes, it's good, or I need to make these changes. When you're done with that, save the template and exit. You have now set up your first message. You can move on to your second message and do the same thing, unless, of course, you've only chosen to send out one. This one's going to be a little bit different. You can choose a completely different piece of artwork and a different message. Sally, your birthday is only 2 weeks away. Again, I know that because I know that this is going out 14 days prior, so that's why I wrote that message the way it's written. And exit. Once I have set up all of my messages with their times, I check the box that says active, I press Save Template and exit. So I'm done. But remember, there's a lot more than just birthdays in there, and not all of them are just important dates. So for instance, yeah, we've got important dates like anniversaries and back to school and birthdays, etc. But we also have the promotional, where you get to create your own date. So maybe in your neck of the woods, something like, well, in my case, August 15th is important. So I say, okay, I'm going to choose my number of campaigns to run. This time I'll go with 2, and choose when they're going to go out. I'm going to say 7 days prior. That means this message is going to go out on August 8th. And 2 days prior, that means this message is going to go out on August 13th. It's a very different way to set it up. And of course, your messages are not going to have traditional artwork, because this is your own custom campaign. Hopefully, you're going to upload your own custom imagery to be associated with it. Not just promotions, but we even have things like Lost Client. Now, unlike most of the others, which are 0 to 30 days, Lost Client is 30 days to 360 days. And Lost Client uses the date of your customer's last transaction. So unlike most of these that go out prior to the important date, this goes out after the date, and it goes out after the date of your customer's last transaction. So what I've said is, I want this first message to go out 3 months after my customer's last transaction with me. That means they haven't returned in 3 months, so I want them to get this message. So I write it, we miss you, Sally. Sally, it's been a long time since we've seen you. Please let us know what we can do to make your next visit memorable. Please print out this email for 10% off your next visit, or whatever it is you want. And choose your artwork that we've pre-made for you, or your own custom artwork. Save your template and exit, just like everything else. But don't forget to send yourself a test email to make sure it looks good. Now, DARCI's not dumb. Even if they haven't been out to see you in 90 days, if they have a future appointment booked with you, it will not send out the messages. If they ignore this entirely and they do not have a future appointment booked with you, then it might send out the second one or the third one, depending on how many you've selected and when you want them to go out. That's Lost Client. So there are others as well, like, for instance, follow-up. Follow-up is really nice because you can use this one very similarly to the Lost Client, but again, this one is from 0 to 30 days instead of 30 to 360 days. And in this case, I'm going to say maybe one campaign, 1 day from the date. This one is also after the date. What's the date? Once again, the date of your customer's last transaction, just like the Lost Client. So what might this do for you? That means that everybody who visited you yesterday will get a message like something, whatever it is you've written, of course, but something like this. Thank you, Sally. Sally, thank you so much for visiting us yesterday. We hope everything went great for you and look forward to seeing you again. Please print this email out for 5% off your next visit. Again, you don't need to do that. That's what I've written. And choose your artwork, etc. So it's a good-looking email that reaches out to your customers, keeping your logo in front of them, giving them the message you want them to give, and maybe, in this case anyway, thanking them for visiting you yesterday. So that would be a follow-up. So there's lots of different things that you can do here, not just holidays like Mother's Day and New Year's and St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day, etc. One of the most popular promotionals that I've seen set up is for like Black Friday. I really liked this one customer's idea where they put in the date of Black Friday and had their message going out 5 days before and 1 day before, and their message said, we know Black Friday shopping can get really, really crazy, and we want you to come in and relax. So foot massages and back massages are going to be offered at 20% off on Black Friday if you bring in 3 receipts from shopping. or for that weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I thought it was a great idea. So it's just the kind of thing, thinking outside the box when you're using ideas like this. All of your customers are going to get this message as long as they allow you to send them promotions. And what do I mean by that? Let's take a look at a customer here. We'll go with Miss Babcock. And I've got her email address, and email promos was gray, now it's dark blue. That means she will get email promotions from me. If it's gray, she won't. It's important because you do want to ask your customers if they'd like to get those types of things from you so they don't feel like they're getting spammed, okay? All right, so let's go back into DARCI here. Now, before we move on from automated campaigns, are there any questions on what we've covered so far? All right, I'm going to take the silence as no questions. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to notifications. Now, do you remember when we set up the DARCI account, we put in owner's email address and perhaps owner's email address too? That is where the notifications come in for the most part, not entirely, but for the most part. These are the items that DARCI feels are for the boss's eyes only. So for instance, everything you check here is what DARCI will be checking. So I checked this one when a cash payment is voided. If one of my employees voids a cash payment, the boss will get an instant email letting them know that in fact a cash payment has been voided. If a price is modified at the point of sale, boss gets notified. When rewards points are adjusted or when a transaction is modified, the boss gets instantly notified. So those are some of the ones that I've checked. Here's an important one. When a client file is printed, we had a customer contact us to let us know that at 2 o'clock in the morning, DARCI contacted her to let her know that a list of her clients had just been printed out. That's kind of an important thing to know. And she was able to catch a thief, somebody who was planning on opening their own shingle right down the street and stealing her customers from her. So she was notified and she was able to do something about it before that happened. But she contacted us to let us know that DARCI had in fact done that, and she was very, very pleased. Now, some of these, most of these anyway, are what we call suspicious activity reporting. Look, 99.9% of the time, the things that your employees are doing at the front desk are completely legitimate. In fact, maybe even all the time. But isn't it nice to know that DARCI's going to be keeping an eye on the things that you want her to keep an eye on, just in case? But some of these are not suspicious activities. For instance, this one here, when email client when booked, unbooked, or rescheduled. If that's checked, when you book an appointment for a customer or unbook their appointment or reschedule their appointment, that client will get an instant email. Now, I do want to give you a little warning about this one. If you teach your new front desk staff how to book appointments, tell them to do it on a miscellaneous customer or perhaps even create themselves as a customer and do it on themselves. We had one customer call us frantic who said, oh my God, there's something wrong with DARCI. One of our customers just called us and she's very upset because she got 40 emails in one day from DARCI. And it just filled up her appointment booking, her email, and she was really kind of upset. So, of course, we looked in there to find out what the heck was going on. No, DARCI did exactly what she was supposed to do. What had happened was they had just hired a new front desk girl, and they taught her how to book, unbook, and reschedule appointments. So you know what she did? She practiced on a particular customer. And that poor customer got 40 emails every time she was practicing booking, unbooking, and rescheduling. So just something to remind you, remember, it can be just a little bit dangerous if you don't keep something like that in mind. Uncheck that. Next, email tomorrow's schedule to operator. Again, this is not a suspicious activity. All this means is that every night, DARCI will email your staff their schedule for the following day. Will it send it to everybody? Yeah, if you want it to, but you can also pick and choose which one of your staff get that email. But again, for those that you want to receive it, DARCI can send them their schedule every night for the following day. Email closing report to the boss. Again, not a suspicious activity. Very simple. Maybe the boss isn't the one who closes the drawer every night. So the boss has gone home, and when the employee closes the drawer, turns out the lights and walks out, later on that evening, DARCI will send an email to the boss that says, hey boss, here are tonight's closing numbers. So things like that can be done. So those are notifications. Any questions on notifications before we continue?
No, sir.
All right. So that's job number 3. Now, she's got 2 other jobs. Both of them are really neat, I think. There's the come again and the buy again. And how do those work? Well, the first one, I'm going to go to setup and I'm going to go to my spa or salon services. This is my come again feature. So I can choose any service. For instance, I'm going to choose massage this time, but if you're in a hair salon or something like that, then maybe you want to do this for something like a root touch-up. Any service that you believe should be repeated regularly is where you want to do this. So I'm going to go with my physical therapy 60 here, which I've already done this on, and I get to go to DARCI. Now I can choose this box right here that says DARCI Come Again, and I can choose from 1 week to 52 weeks. I've chosen, in this case, 3 weeks. Let's pretend that I thought if somebody gets a physical therapy 60, they should be returning every week for that. And if 3 whole weeks have gone by and they have not returned for the physical therapy 60, then they're going to get this message. Don't neglect your physical therapy. I know that a busy schedule can get in the way of your muscles' health. Don't let it. We see you've missed your last therapy cycle. Call today to schedule. Again, that's what I've written. Write whatever you'd like. Now, DARCI doesn't have to just remind them that they missed. And by the way, again, DARCI not being dumb, she will check to see if they have a future appointment. Even if they have not seen you in 3 weeks, if they have a future appointment for a physical therapy 60, she won't send out this email because they've already booked their future appointment with you. Now, let's say, for instance, though, that it was something a little bit different. Remember, this is reminding them that they've missed their cycle. But what about something like, let's go to hair, and it doesn't matter what I choose. I'll go with a Brazilian blowout. Let's just pretend that I said this should be repeated every 8 weeks, okay? So I can go here to DARCI, choose my come again, and this time, instead of going after, I'm going to go before. So I'm going to say 7 weeks. And then my subject. Your Brazilian blowout should be coming up soon, maybe something like that. And then maybe my body says, it's been 7 weeks since your last Brazilian blowout. We recommend a Brazilian blowout every 8 weeks. Be sure to call us to schedule your next Brazilian blowout appointment. Of course, it's focusing only on that one because that's the service we're in, so you can use the name in there. It's not generic. But understand, because DARCI knows if they have a future appointment, she won't send out the email. So if they're already scheduled to come in, they won't get the message. But if 7 whole weeks have gone by and they have not scheduled, even though it hasn't come up yet, because they should be coming in a week later, she can remind them that they should be due in a week. Hopefully that gets them to make that phone call or go to your website and book their appointment online with you. Once, of course, that appointment online or you get called you to book their appointment goes out, you don't have to worry about any more of these messages going out to them unless, once again, 7 whole weeks have gone by, in this case, and they have not booked their next appointment for that service, okay? DARCI, not being dumb, will work with the group, meaning even though they're not coming in for a Brazilian blowout, if they are coming in for something else in that group, she won't send out the email. However, they may be booked for a massage, and she'll still say, hey, your Brazilian blowout is due, because the massage has nothing to do with that, so she'll still remind them about that. But if they got a physical therapy 60, and then they were getting an appointment for a physical therapy 30, that's not the same service. It's not the same appointment. But so she won't send out the email, though, because it's in the same category, okay? So she's really very smart about that, so you never look foolish. That's the DARCI Come Again. Now, we also have something called the DARCI Buy Again, and that's in inventory. Right down here, I've got a Buy Again button. If I click this button, once again, I've got a subject, a body, and once again, I can choose from 1 to 52 weeks. So let's go to one that I've already created. This is my Just an All-in-One shampoo, and I've said that this is the way it works. If somebody comes through my business and buys the Just an All-in-One shampoo, let's pretend it's 20 ounces, and let's pretend I told them to use 2 ounces of it every other day. Well, if they do that, then in about 3 weeks, it should be empty or darn near close. So I'm going to choose maybe 5 weeks because I'm not the guy that honks the horn the second the light turns green. I want to give them an opportunity to come in and buy. So that's why I chose 5 weeks, and I wrote my subject. Your Just an All-in-One shampoo is running low. And my body. If you've been using the shampoo like I told you, then you should notice that you're either out or running low. Please print this email out and bring it in with you for 5% off your next purchase within 30 days. Again, you don't need to give discounts like that or anything like that. That's what I like to do. I've read surveys that things like that work and get people to respond. So it's entirely up to you if you want to do that. But again, you write whatever it is you want. So just like the come again, DARCI checks who bought the Justin All-in-One shampoo, and she'll check every day. And how long ago did they buy it? And if they hit that magic number, it's been 5 weeks since the last time they came in and bought that product, they'll get this message, as long as, again, they allow you to send out promos. Now, again, if they came in within that time and they bought that shampoo, it'll reset the clock, sure. But what if they came in and bought a different shampoo within that time? Same thing. It'll reset the clock. Why? Because if they buy something in the same category, it'll count as though they came back in to get that product. Okay? All right. Any questions on the come again or the buy again?
When you had just now, what we had just went over, if we had the group selected as well, that last one, so like you said, it wouldn't send out the campaign if they had purchased a different kind of shampoo. Would it still if the groups were different?
Well, it's not going to be based by group. It's going to be based by category.
Category only, okay.
That's right, category only. Yeah,
Okay.
so if they bought a conditioner or if they bought nail polish, it'll still go out for the shampoo.
Got it. All right.
If you have them in separate categories.
I see.
All right. Okay, good question, though. All right, so let's go on back here. You're welcome. All right, so we've talked about her 5 main jobs: appointment reminders and confirmations, campaigns, notifications, come again, and buy again. Now that we have told her what we want her to do, we need to tell her when to do them. So the items that we have selected, confirmations and campaigns, end-of-day functions, service come again, and retail buy again. If we want them to work, we must put checks in the box. So a check in this box means that my appointment confirmations and my marketing campaigns will go out every day at 9:30 a.m. That's what I chose. You can choose from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Anything you'd like within that time frame. End-of-day functions. This would be, for instance, sending the boss the closing report every night, or sending the boss, or sending your staff their schedule for the following day. You don't want DARCI to send out the schedule for the following day if you're still booking appointments that day. You don't want DARCI to try to send out the closing report to the boss if you have not yet closed. So we recommend that the time for your end-of-day functions be at least a half hour after closing. And what I mean by that is not a half hour after you've seen your last customer, but a half hour after you have actually closed your drawer. That way, DARCI actually has something to send to the boss. And more importantly, you want to make sure, the lights are out, the doors are locked, and you walk out. Of course, the computer is still up and running. If you're in the cloud, don't worry about it. If you are using the installed version, you need to make sure that the DARCI computer, whichever computer DARCI is running on, is still up and running, because you won't be able to send these things out that evening if you have turned off your computer. If you're using an installed version. Again, in the cloud, turn off all your computers, no problem. She's always running because it's in the cloud. Doesn't matter where you're accessing it from. Okay, next, the come again and the buy again. We simply recommend that whatever time you select here, again, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., simply match your confirmations and campaigns. Do you have to do that? No. Do we recommend it? Yeah, it's a good idea, simply so that you know that they're all going out at the right time or at the same time, etc., so that you can just say these things happened at that particular time of day. All right, so we've checked off the boxes of the things we want her to do. We've set the times that we want her to do, and we can accept the whole thing. All of my settings have been saved, and now we can exit. You have hired DARCI. You have told her what you want her to do. You have told her when you want her to do it, and you have set her to work. You get to forget about her now. She will run every single day at those times doing the things that you have asked. Now, some days, she may send out 3 emails. Some days she might send out 30. Some days she might send out 3,000 or 30,000. You never know exactly how many she's sending out because it's all based on the things that you have asked her to do for you. For instance, if all you've got her set up for is birthdays, well, then the only people that are going to get birthdays are the ones who are exactly the amount of time out that you've set her for. So maybe she doesn't send out any that day. Maybe she sends out 1 or 2. But if you have her set out for Valentine's Day, for instance, that's a global. So all of your customers that allow you to send out promos will get the Valentine's promo, 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them over the course of that month. And so she may send out several hundred of them. She may send out thousands of them. You just never know exactly how many she's sending out. It's all based on what your selections were. That is DARCI. Any questions on DARCI before we move over to manual marketing?
No, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about manual marketing. Now, the first thing I want you to know about manual marketing is that it's completely customizable. And what I mean by that is in every client file, we have something called tracking. Now, when you first go into tracking, there is nothing here at all. It's a completely blank gray square. There's no blue buttons, there's no words, nothing. You must set up your tracking items. Now, I've set up some that make sense and others that don't. For instance, I set up color, and this is the color of my customer's hair. So I've said black and highlights and bleach, and I've got some silly things in here as well, but I've also got red and brown and blonde, etc. I said that Michelle has black hair. Her hair length, short, medium, long, whatever. I said she's got medium hair. Actually, I said long, but I'm going to choose medium this time. And does she get perms? All of these things I created, and some of them can be rather silly, like motorcycle. I say silly, but let's think about it really quick. I'm going to tell you the reason, by the way, that I have motorcycle in here. Let's go back in there. Notice over here, I have motorcycle, yes and no. Now, what I mean by motorcycle, I had a customer that said, boy, wouldn't it be nice, because they're in Montana, and they have every August, there's this great big motorcycle gathering. And they said, wouldn't it be nice if we could contact all of our customers that come into town for that motorcycle gathering? Because their little town of 2,500 turns into a town of 25,000 that week only. And so I said, well, why can't you? You just need to set it in your tracking items. So I showed them, and I did it right in here. So when a customer comes in and they're during that week, and you just simply ask them, hey, did you, are you here for the motorcycle gathering? Oh, well, yes, I am, because they're not a local, they don't know them. So they got their information and they chose yes. Then they can create a list of customers. I want a list of all of my customers that ride motorcycles. I want a list of all of my females that ride motorcycles. I want a list of all of my female Hispanics that have long black hair that ride motorcycles. Well, if they did that, then Michelle would be on that list. So you really get to customize it. So now I'm going to go here to my reports, and I'm going to go to marketing, create a list. Everything under occupation is created by me. Actually, under attribute is created by me. I get to make those up. How do I do that? I go to setup, configuration, tracking, and I can add tracking names. Now, when you first get this, these are all blank white squares. I put in whatever word I want here, like hair color. And then over here, I type red, enter, blonde, enter, brunette, enter, silver fox, enter, whatever. Then those options will be there for me in the client files, and I can choose them. So now, when I go here to marketing, create a list, if I said, I just want a list of all of my customers, every one of them. Okay, so then I don't have to do anything. All my men, all of my women that are active customers, and say all clients, and create list. And it will generate a list of all of my customers for me. Or I could do something like this, just my females who ride motorcycles and have black hair. I can do that as well. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to call this Moto Black Femme, and then create list. And it's going to go through every single one of my customers. And every one of them that is a female that rides a motorcycle and has black hair is going to appear. And there's Miss Babcock, as well as 4 others. So I get to create a list. And it doesn't have to just be on the items that I created. I can create a list based on where they live, how they were referred to me, what services they get from me, what products they purchase from me, which operators, my staff, they like to see. I can just go crazy. I can make big lists with thousands of customers on them, or little lists with half a dozen customers on them. But once I have created a list, whatever it is, I go to blast. Now, I can choose a list, like, let's go with my, here we go. Here's my Moto Black Femme that I just created. Now, I can export that list to anywhere I want on my computer. By exporting that list, I can upload it into something like Constant Contact or Go Loyal or Demand Force or whatever else you might want to use. But that's just there because people may want it. But this is really the important one here, blast list. Now, I can set up a message that I want to send, give it a name, subject, choose my font and my size. I can even upload a custom image, like a beautiful woman on a motorcycle, for instance, and then type in the body of my message. Hey, we know that you're coming into town for the bike festival, and we know that riding that bike all day long, come on in and let us give you a massage and a Vichy shower and a facial and whatever. It's going out to just those specific people. So it's a very highly targeted message. And so you get a much higher read rate and much higher response because it's targeted. It doesn't feel like spam, especially when you use their names. So this might say something like, hi, Michelle, we know that you've been riding that bike all day. Come on in and let us give you 25% off a lower back massage. I mean, this is targeted to someone like Michelle. Much higher response rate, positive response rate. And you can do both email or text. So once you have created the email that you want, then that will be listed here. And you can choose whatever you want from the list that you've created. So I've got all sorts of different ones here, like my acne women and my anniversary follow-up and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many different things in here that I can choose from, including my Moto Femme. Now, send myself a test email to make sure it looks good, and then process. And everyone on that list, whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, they're going to get that email. Okay? And of course, I could do a text message as well instead. That is manual marketing. Now, manual marketing is more, though, than just promotions. What if you had someone like Christian walk up to you and say, hey, boss, my 3 o'clock just canceled. Oh, okay. Geez, it's already 1 o'clock. And we don't get a lot of walk-in business. So you're going to be sitting on your hands for that time. What are we going to do about that? Well, what we can do is this. Marketing, create a list. And we can say, you know what? I just want a list of all of my customers that prefer to see Christian. And then I give it a name, like Christian's Ladies, which I've already created. After I make my list, I can go to Blast and choose my Christian's Ladies or Christian's clients. I'll go with my Christian's Ladies here and blast the list. Now, I've already created one for you, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. I'm going to go here to my Christian 3 o'clock. And this says, Sally, there's an opening with Christian today. I choose my font size. If I want to upload an image, I can. It'll already have your logo on it, so don't worry about that. And my body, there's been a late cancellation with Christian today. It is at 3 p.m. First person to call to schedule this time will get 25% off their service. I saved my template, and so now I can go to my email and choose my Christian's 3 o'clock, which is what I named it. Send myself a test email, make sure it looks good. Yep, hit process, and all of my women who see Christian will get this email or this text message, letting them know that Christian's got a late cancellation and you're going to give them a big discount to the first customer that fills his 3 o'clock time slot. That's gap filling. That's not a promo. That's very helpful to fill those gaps. Now, you might notice that web openings came up here when I went into reports, and you can click here to get more information, etc. Web openings also does gap filling, but web openings really focuses on like light days. Hey, Tuesdays are usually pretty light, or Tuesdays from 2 to 5 are usually pretty light. That's where they come in. You don't need to, that's not set up through us, that's set up through them, but it works directly with our software. And it allows customers of yours to get notifications like the discounts and things like that for Tuesday afternoon that you want to send. So it's really a powerful tool. But again, you can do marketing for gap filling. You can do marketing for promotions. You can do marketing for anything you can imagine, especially because it is, in fact, customizable. We've had customers that have used this just to tell people that they're going to be closed on Monday. They want to blast out to their customers with their logo, a pretty picture that says, hey, for Memorial Day, we're going to be closed, and just wanted you all to be aware of that, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday, whatever it may be. Okay? That's it, guys. That's the DARCI marketing class. Do I have any questions at all on anything we've covered today?
No, thank you.
All right. Then my next question is, Spa Within, I'm going to direct this to you first. Would you like me to send you a copy of this class that you just attended?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. And the Sanctuary, would you like that as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've got the Spa Withins, but Sanctuary, is that an I or an L dash for the email address?
It's an L underscore.
Okay, L underscore. There we go. All
Basil
so I've got that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
Matt.
right, so you will get a copy of this, and as I end all classes, I always say thank you so much for spending time with me today. The people who are most familiar with the software are the people who will end up being the happiest with it. So I do appreciate you spending your time with me today. Have a great day, ladies, and you can expect an email of this class probably within the next hour.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye, everybody.